Now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello everyone, and welcome to today's DAAD webinar series on getting a graduate degree at the School of Integrated Climate System Sciences at the University of Hamburg. If you are not particularly interested in this degree, but if you're interested generally speaking in what the University of Hamburg has to offer, my presenters today will also discuss that. So there will be a lot we will talk about today. Before we go into the details of today's webinar, let me talk a little bit about the webinar series itself. We started the webinar series to introduce to you universities in Germany, so you get an insight in what the universities offer. And of course, if you can stay for the whole hour, or if you would like to share the information later, we will share the slides with you, the DAAD presentation as well as the University of Hamburg presentation. And I also record this webinar, and I will put this webinar on our website later. Since I have your email addresses when you registered, I will send you an email once the webinar is up online, and then you can just download the presentations. And of course, you will be able to get in touch with us later on as well. We will provide the contact information. If you're not familiar with the webinar, with the GoToWebinar, first of all attendees are on mute, but of course you are able to communicate with us through the question pane, and you will just put in your question, hit enter, and then I will see those questions. If it is a very quick question, I will just briefly answer it right away. Otherwise, we will have a Q&A at the very end of this webinar. And I think that's the most important. If you have any audio trouble, you may want to try to switch between use mic and speakers or use telephone. And you may also want to check your audio settings on your computer. But I very much hope that you don't have any trouble today. I'm Hanni Geist. I'm the DAAD Information Officer in San Francisco. And with us today are Courtney Pelzer-Hönicke. She's the head of the Department of International Affairs at the University of Hamburg. And we also have Katharina Röper, who also is working at the University of Hamburg in the Department of International Affairs. And you will later on, once it's the presenters' turn, they may introduce themselves a little bit more in depth. But for now, I would like to talk to you about today's agenda. So first of all, I would like to talk a little bit about DAAD. What is DAAD? What scholarships and grants do we offer? And then we will jump right into the presentation by the University of Hamburg. They will give us a brief overview in general of the university, and then we'll talk about, generally speaking, international postgraduate programs that are offered at the university, and then they will go into more detail about the integrated climate system sciences. And of course, since that's very important, they will address topics like application, campus life, costs of living, and talk a little bit about Hamburg as a city itself. And then, as I mentioned before, we do have a question and answer section at the very end. And you don't have to wait until the very end to ask those questions. You can ask the questions as they come up, and then I will collect them. All right, so who is or what is DAAD? So simply put, DAAD is the German higher education arm of the German government, but we are an independent association of German universities. We do provide scholarships and grants to all academics at all stages and all disciplines, and we do also offer counseling about studying and research in Germany. So if you're generally interested about studying in Germany, how to apply, what the requirements requirements are. We are more than happy to answer all those questions for you, but of course, if you have specific questions, I encourage you to contact the universities directly, and for the University of Hamburg, we do have direct contact information at the end of this session. Also, it is included in the University of Hamburg presentation. Now, just to give you an overview, DAAD worldwide. So DAAD is represented in not just North America, but we have 70 offices worldwide. Just to give you an idea how many scholarships we offer, last year we provided scholarships and grants for about 120,000 individuals, and we had about a budget of $500 million, dollars altogether. So if you are an international student, you are eligible to apply here for grants, but if you go back to your native country and you study there, then you're eligible to apply for scholarships and grants that are available in your home country, I'm sorry. Now, why study in Germany? I'm sure that the representatives from the University of Hamburg will also go into detail why to study in Germany. They will probably go a lot into detail why it is very attractive to study in Hamburg, but just why Germany. There is a quality of education, even though, as you may have heard, studying in Germany is not, there are not high tuition costs involved, but despite that, there is a high quality of education. The cost of living is very low in comparison to the United States in most cities. There are career opportunities in Germany. Just to add that for you, if you're interested, if you are a graduate student, if you're a student in Germany and you graduate from a German university, you don't have to leave the country right away. As a student on a valid student visa, you are allowed to stay in Germany for several months to find a job, and if you do find a job, then you can apply for a work visa. So that is a possibility for you if you think about what your options are after you finish with your degree. Now, DAAD funds scholarships and grants, and generally speaking, we fund study abroad, we fund internships, senior thesis research, and we offer a monthly stipend or a lump sum. Again, I mentioned it's open to students in all fields. If you are interested in getting a degree at the University of Hamburg, for example, and it's an international program, you don't necessarily have to speak German for the scholarships that we offer. You have to speak as much German as the program requires you to speak. And in addition to the lump sum or the monthly stipend, you also receive a health insurance and some travel reimbursement. And now I would like to talk about two scholarships in particular. The undergraduate scholarship, if you're interested in studying in Germany at the University of Hamburg, that is possible for 1 semester or for 2 semesters while you are an undergraduate student. You can apply for an undergraduate scholarship. You receive 650 euros a month. You get insurance and a travel stipend. And 650 euros at this point equals about $650, maybe a little bit more. And while this is not a lot of money for maybe U.S. campuses, this is actually quite a bit of money for German students. You would not have to use a lot of your private funds in addition to what DAAD offers to cover your living expenses. And now to the scholarship that is particularly interesting to you if you are interested in getting a postgraduate degree. This is the study scholarship for students who would like to study in Germany for either 1 year or for 2 years to receive a master's in Germany. Again, the language skills are really dependent on the program, but since today we focus especially on the international programs, you wouldn't have to worry about any German skills for the degree program, but of course I always like to stress that it is an advantage if you speak German, even if it's just a little bit. Now, if you would like to learn more about DAAD scholarships and grants, about the application procedure, the requirements, I invite you to visit daad.org. And if you have any questions later on, of course, you will be able to ask questions while we have this webinar here or later on. My contact information will be provided at the very end of this presentation as well. And if you like to learn more, just generally speaking about studying in Germany, opportunities in Germany, follow us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and of course subscribe to our DAAD New York newsletter if you haven't done so already. Now, with that, I would like to switch to the University of Hamburg. I'm very happy that Courtney Pelzer-Hönicke and Katharina Röper are joining us today from Hamburg. And I will switch the presentation to Ms. Pelzer-Hönicke. Are you hearing me?
Yes, I can hear you. And can you all hear me?
Yes, I can. Hello from Hamburg. It's for those of you who are not familiar with the different time zones. So I'm here in San Francisco. It's early morning, and in Hamburg, it's the end of the workday. And so I'm very delighted that you are able to join us today, this evening or morning.
Okay. We're very pleased to be here to offer the webinar. I'm just checking it. We're having a little bit of technical difficulties with the presentation, getting it to present for you. Let's see. Hold on. Okay. Okay, here we go. Move some things out of the way. Okay. Katharina Röper and I both work at the Universität Hamburg. I am in charge of international affairs, and Katharina is our expert on international student admissions in the Center for Academic Advising. And today we're going to present a few facts and figures about the Universität Hamburg and the academic profile, so you kind of know what type of institution we are, and we'll give you some information about our international postgraduate programs. Katharina will give you some specialized information on the programs in integrated climate system sciences, and probably most important for you, how to apply to those programs. And then I will give you some more information about campus life, about the costs of living, and what costs to expect if you choose to come to Hamburg, and also just a little bit of information about the city so that you know where the university is at. So getting started, the University of Hamburg has about 41,200 students enrolled at the moment. That's including doctoral students and visiting and guest students. About 12% of our student body is international. We have students from more than 140 countries around the world. We have at the moment about 660 professors, plus over 3,600 research associates. Those are research and teaching assistants at the PhD and postdoc level. And we support our researchers, our professors, and our students with over 6,000 administrative and technical support staff. We are a big university divided into 8 faculties or schools. We have a faculty of law, economics and social sciences, medicine, which includes human medicine and dentistry, a faculty of education, humanities, mathematics, informatics, and natural sciences, a new faculty on psychology and human movement science, and a new faculty on business administration. So we're organized more or less like a large American university in that sense. Our academic profile is quite diverse. We offer at the moment around 170 bachelor and master degree programs covering most disciplines. We are not a technical university. We offer no programs in engineering, although we do offer, as I said, a number of programs in the natural sciences and computer science. Our bachelor programs are designed around a 6-semester system for the most part, and our master programs are in general 4 semesters or 2 years. A unique selling point about Universität Hamburg is that we offer more than 100 foreign languages. We offer everything from Arabic to Zulu. And we also offer doctoral studies in all fields, and we increasingly offer joint PhD programs with partner institutions. Now, getting more to the focus of our webinar, we're going to look at today our international postgraduate programs. We have more than 25 master's programs that are either offered completely in English or offered in English and German as bilingual master programs. And these are offered in a wide variety of disciplines. We have programs in English in the natural sciences, of course in business and economics, but also in the humanities. So we like to think we have something for everyone. And these programs, of course, have a focus of an international global classroom, and the student body in these programs is quite diverse. We have an international mix of students. In addition, we also offer a number of postgraduate programs in German, so if you have advanced German skills, you are also more than welcome to look at those programs, and we can give you some information also in the Q&A session about where to find those programs and some tips and tricks about the admission process there. And as I mentioned before, doctoral studies are available in all disciplines. So if we have any potential PhD students out there, I'm sure we have something for you too. And now I'm going to hand over the mic to Katharina, and she will give you some more information about our English language programs and specifically in the climate sciences.
Yes, thank you, Courtney. My name is Katharina, and my job today will be to give you a little bit more detailed information on our different English master's programs. So what selection I made here, as you can see, is a list of all our English master programs which are offered without tuition fees at our university. These programs are taught in English only, and as you can see at the Faculty of Economics and Social Sciences, we do have a Master of Science in Economics. At the Faculty of Humanities, there is a Master of Arts in Ethiopian Studies, and 4 different programs, international master's programs in different regional foci. You have Buddhist Studies, South Asian Studies, Tibetan Studies, and our international master's program in Languages and Cultures of Southeast Asia. The last 4 programs are all offered at our Asia-Africa Institute. They all include one mandatory semester abroad in a country of the region, of course, and they also offer a more specific regional specialization and also further language training. So in addition to all these programs taught in English, you will be also able to learn a language connected to the region which you are studying. Furthermore, there's one interdisciplinary degree program offered jointly by our Faculty of Economics and Social Sciences and our Faculty of Humanities, which is called Politics, Economics and Philosophy, also Master of Science. And at our Faculty of Mathematics, Informatics and Natural Sciences, we do have more degree programs. One is Industrial Mathematics, which is offered jointly by our university and the Technical University in Hamburg. And the further 4 programs listed here, one of which is Integrated Climate System Sciences. We will get into more detail on this specific program later on. And we do have Intelligent Adaptive Systems, Mathematical Physics, and Mathematics. Of course, this is just a small selection of our degree programs. we do have more degree programs offered in English language, which are offered as a second master's degree. And of course, we also do have bilingual programs on the master level, which are offered both in German and English language. So you would have to have sufficient knowledge of the German language for this as well. And also, of course, a lot of doctoral programs, which are, of course, offered in English as well. And furthermore, bachelor programs, which are offered in German only. So our bachelor programs would require you to actually prepare and study German for this in order to apply, which is, of course, what you would like to learn about now. Your first step really would be to have a look at the website, which is indicated here. It is our basic study program database, and once you've selected a degree program, you will receive detailed information here, both on details on the program, career prospects, also the structure of the program, which semester will contain which courses, detailed information on how to apply, and also further orientation offers. For example, for almost all degree programs, we do have podcasts available, so you would be able to listen into a lecture on the program you're interested in, or even get information on information sessions on these programs. So it's really worth a look to check out this database on our degree programs. You can see the link below. So so far for now. As promised, we will give a special focus in our webinar today on our School of Integrated Climate System Sciences, SIX in short. SIX is part of our Cluster of Excellence, CLISAP, which stands for Climate System Analysis and Prediction at Universität Hamburg. It is a very specific cluster because it is a cluster of excellence funded through our Federal Excellence Initiative, which means it's very research-oriented, and it's stated as excellent research. And particularly about this program is to say that it is interdisciplinary by nature. That is, you will have equal parts in this program on physics of the climate system, biogeochemistry, as well as climate-related economics and social sciences. So this makes the mixture of these different disciplines coming together makes it quite a unique program at our university and also nationwide. We do have also, as stated before, podcasts on this particular program. It is in our Lecture to Go portal. You can see the links below. One is actually a lecture on the climate system sciences in combination with application information for prospective students. It is about 1 hour. That's the first link, and given by one of our professors of this field. And the second lecture is just a rather short information, mostly on given by students on the degree program. It's about 10 minutes. So you're of course welcome to check these links out. And just to give you some more detail about what kind of programs are offered and how they are set up, we offer a Master of Science in Integrated Climate System Sciences with a duration of 4 semesters, that is 2 years. And you will be able to specialize in 3 different areas of expertise, in physics of the climate system, biogeochemistry, and also the focus on economics and social sciences, which are related to climate sciences. And basically, in order to apply for a master's degree, you would need a Bachelor of Science, of course, which also has a special focus on either on climate system sciences, and you would also need a solid background in mathematics and physics in order to apply. In addition to our master's program, there also is the option at SIX to do a doctoral program at the school, which will last 3 years, and is also with a strong emphasis on interdisciplinary cooperation. And currently, we are very proud to have doctoral projects in the school in 18 different fields. So you can see it's really interdisciplinary in this program. And to get more information about the doctoral program, you are also welcome, of course, to check out the given link on the grad school at CLISAP. So far on our special focus, on 6. However, in general, I would also like to give you some information on our application process on all our master's programs. And of course, you first need to know what are requirements. You would need a bachelor's degree or equivalent in order to apply. And of course, as I said before, it's important to have a bachelor in the field that you've already studied before. So the bachelor must be able to, you will need the bachelor in order to apply for a master's program in a similar field, otherwise it will not be possible to apply. In addition to your bachelor's degree, you would also need language proficiency. Of course, English for you will be given, and there's no extra need to prove that. However, some programs you would also need a language particular to the specific master's program. For example, for Ethiopian studies, you would also need proof of basic knowledge in an African language, for example. So you would want to watch out for what kind of specific language proficiencies are expected from you when applying for one of the programs. Furthermore, all the programs have very individual requirements, such as a letter of motivation or CV or letters of recommendation. It really does depend a lot on the particular program you're applying for, because the applications are not centralized, but at each faculty you will apply directly, and therefore the program requirements are also individual to the subject you will choose. Just in general, in Germany, the academic year is divided in 2 semesters. The summer semester will last from April to August, and the winter semester from October to March. Application deadlines for the summer semester will end on the 15th of January. So by then, you will have to hand in an online application and also all supporting documents for your application. For the winter semester, which is the main semester in which most programs are offered, the application deadline is either the 15th of July or, for a lot of international master's programs, early the 31st of March. So by then you would have to have handed in all your documents in order to have a successful application. Generally, we do know that an application process always requires also a very good time management, which is why we offer you our international guide for applying at our university. It is an online portal in which you could sign up and then choose the programs you would like to apply for. And within this portal you will get a timeline which will remind you once you log in of all the activities you have to prepare, your documents, and to send in the online application, for example. And it will basically guide you through the application process step by step. So you can always check within this portal what your current status is and what you still have to do in order to send in a successful application. This is the main function of the portal, to guide you through the application process, but furthermore we also do have a lot of reports and information written by students at Universität Hamburg on different aspects of student life on campus, how it is to study, how the living situation is, and housing situation, how to apply for that. So there's a lot of additional information that may come in handy in order to prepare everything for your application, and also hopefully your start at our university later on. Okay, you also can see the link to the international guide there, so you're welcome to sign in and check this offer out. And now I would like to hand back the mic to Courtney, and she will give further information on Campus Live.
Thank you, Katharina. As I mentioned before, we're a big university with 41,000 students, so you can imagine there is a lot going on campus. We have clubs and activities on everything, campus sports, tons of sporting activities. One particular group that I would like to mention here is our Piasta group. Piasta is our intercultural living and learning program. It's a prize-winning program that brings German and international students together. And Piasta offers every year in October, when most of the new degree programs start, an International Welcome Week as a pre-semester orientation. And this is a great way for new students to get to know the campus, to get to know each other, and to get to know how the university works. In addition, Piasta offers over the course of the semester different events, social events, cultural events, excursions, but they also offer workshops and seminars and just talks on topics like can I work in Hamburg as an international student, or I'm getting ready to finish my degree, how do I find a job, or can I get a work permit after I finish my degree. They are there for everything, and they are a great group. I recommend any student who's interested in coming to Hamburg to take a look at Piasta's homepage to see what they have on offer. And if you come to Hamburg, as I recently heard from a doctoral student from India, the only word you need to know when you get to the Universität Hamburg is Piasta. They are great. We talked about cost of living, that we were going to talk about that, and one big thing that I wanted to mention, especially to those of you coming from the U.S., most of our degree programs do not charge tuition fees, which is great. There are a few fees that are university related that you need to keep in mind. There is a semester contribution fee of approximately 300 euros at the moment. That's about 322 US dollars, and that includes a public transport ticket for the entire Hamburg region for the entire semester. And all of our students are required to provide proof of health insurance. This generally means we need you to provide proof of German health insurance, and that costs 77 euros per month. That's about 82 US dollars. And a residence permit costs about 100 euros. Hamburg is, for the German perspective, a relatively expensive city in comparison to U.S. cities. It depends on where you're coming from. We recommend that students have approximately 750 euros per month to cover their costs of living. That's about $800 per month to cover rent, food, books, technology, and of course you don't want to spend all your time on campus in the library. You need some money for free time. In other words, you can get a reputable master's degree for approximately 20,000 euros total, including all of your costs of living. That's about $21,500. That is a bargain. Just because it doesn't cost a lot doesn't mean the quality isn't good. We have some great programs for you. Finally, I just wanted to say a few words about the city of Hamburg. So you, for those of you who've never been here, you kind of have an idea what the city is like. Hamburg is a large city. There's about 1.8 million citizens in the Hamburg metropolitan area. However, it's a very green city. On the one side we have the River Elbe, and in the middle of the city we have the Alster Lake, and there are canals interspersing the city. And we have lots of large parks. So it's a very, as I said, it's a very, very green city. Also, there are lots of job opportunities. Airbus has one of its major centers here in Hamburg. Beiersdorf, the maker of Nivea products, also has its headquarters here. And Google has its German headquarters in Hamburg, and PwC, previously known as PricewaterhouseCoopers, the big accounting firm, also has offices in Hamburg. Those are just a few examples. And as I said, leisure, free time is also important. The bar and club scene in Hamburg is well known, not just in Germany, but internationally. We're known for the Sin Mile der Reeperbahn. And we've put a link in there where you can find more information about the city. As you can see from the pictures, it is quite beautiful. And Universität Hamburg is your gateway to the world of knowledge, and we thank you very much for your attention. And I'm looking forward to hearing or to seeing your questions, and hopefully we can help you out. We'd like to see you.
Thank you very much. That was a great presentation, and I think you mentioned something very important at the very end, that just because, and especially for our U.S. listeners, that just because it's not very expensive, it doesn't mean that it's not of good quality, and I think that's something that I have to stress sometimes a bit more for the American audience, because yeah, it's quality of education doesn't necessarily have to equal a lot of money. I currently don't have any questions here on my screen. However, I do have a question maybe that you can answer. So for the international programs, are there options for students to take German classes on campus, or is that something that only students can take maybe outside of the university?
And now we have a language center that offers courses in German as a foreign language at all levels. So we have courses for relatively beginners in German, as well as courses for students who have advanced German skills, who are participating in German language degree programs, but who need or who want assistance in academic German, etc.
Okay. And then, so just as a reminder for those who are attending this webinar, if you do have any questions, feel free to type them in the question box, and I will be happy to pass them to the presenters today. But for now, we don't have any questions from the audience, so I'm just going to keep on asking the questions that I have that I think may be important. So, does the university offer visa support for international students, or do the students need to take care of that independently?
I'll give this question over to Katharina, as she's the expert in this area.
Okay. Yes, of course, we do offer visa support at our university. We do have information sheets on how to proceed in order to get a visa, and also should there be any problems while you're applying in your home country for a visa, we of course are happy to help and issue confirmation letters or whatever is needed in order to get your visa on time.
Okay, great, thank you. Did you want to add something?
Yes, I'd like to add something in addition for all those who are US citizens. Of course, there's also alternatives to come to Germany right away, and you could just enter the country and then apply for a residence permit on location. That is also an alternative. It just depends. It's possible to apply for a visa before, but it is not necessary if you are a US citizen.
And to add to that, the consulates in America actually don't want you to apply here, and they will not offer that if there's not some special circumstance, because it is so convenient, it is so easy, and you are able as a U.S. citizen to enter Germany on a tourist visa and then to just apply for the residence permit and the student visa while you are in Germany. But it's great to know that you offer the support on campus. And while we spoke, I actually got in a question, a very good one. Wendy asked, what kind of tests do students take to prove they have adequate German level, and is it offered on campus in Hamburg? So we just today focus on the international programs, but for those students who are in fact interested in programs offered in German, what do they need to do, and where can they take those tests?
There are actually a lot of different options because we accept a lot of different tests. Perhaps the most common ones are the TestDAF, Test of German as a Foreign Language, that's the abbreviation. And there are currently 4 schools in Hamburg at which you could do that test. But the important information on TestUp is that it is offered in testing institutions worldwide. You could even do it in your home country actually before coming to Germany. That is one alternative. And another option would be the DSH exam, which is German for foreign students. It's taken at universities. It is currently not offered at our university, but we are very much hoping that it will be offered next year. Right now, there are universities very near Germany at which you could actually do this kind of test. And what is important to know about the specific language level, you would need an advanced level of German, which is more or less between B2 and C1. So this is on the reference, the scale A1 would be beginners and C2 are experts. So it is an advanced level which you would need in order to apply.
And just to add to that, or the question that I would have is, I know that some universities actually, they accept the Goethe Institute certificates as well. Is that an option for students? Because I know here in the United States, TestDuff is offered in some locations, but there are other locations where the Goethe Institute, and I'm speaking here in particularly for San Francisco on the West Coast, where the Goethe Institute is represented, but the TestDuff is, for example, not offered anywhere near the West Coast. So is that something that the University of Hamburg also accepts?
Yes, there's a number of certificates that we accept as proof of German proficiency. We have all that information on our webpage because it's actually quite a long list of what we accept. And all of the certificates we accept have more or less the same level that Katharina was talking about of B2, C1.
So in case of the Goethe Institute, it would be a Goethe certificate, C1 would be sufficient in order to.
Yeah. Okay, great, thank you. Since as a DAAD representative, that's one of the questions that I frequently get, and just from experience, really for those students that are currently in the United States, either the TestDuff test or the Goethe Institute certificate, those are your best options. And if you are looking for a more flexible schedule, the Goethe Institute actually they offer a few dates per year. However, if you're under time pressure, or if you want to do it on your own schedule, they do offer it independently as well. You would just have to pay a little bit more, but this is not possible for TestDuff, so this is maybe also something for you to keep in mind if you do want to do it on your own schedule, to more look into the Goethe Institutes that are close to where you are currently located. All right. I usually have a lot of questions to the presenters, but you did a very thorough job in presenting the programs and the application process and the city of Hamburg. And I think a lot of the questions that I would have had were answered. So thank you very much for that. Is there anything that comes to mind on your side that you would like to maybe add that you didn't include in your presentation, while maybe if the attendees think of other questions?
Well, I can perhaps speak from the point of view of someone who made the jump across the Atlantic to Germany, to Hamburg in particular. I know it's sometimes maybe intimidating, the thought of leaving the States to come here for a degree program. However, I can speak for Universität Hamburg, we offer quite a number of welcome programs, and we work very hard to make our students feel at home here. And we certainly don't want anyone to be afraid or intimidated about asking questions. That's what my office and what Katharina's office is there for. We really want good students to come here and study. We think we have excellent programs, and we think that there are lots of wonderful students around the world who we would love to have on our campus. And so please don't hesitate to ask your questions, get in contact with us, peruse our websites. You'll find lots of information there. Because as I said, we have a variety of programs, and we have for almost everyone we have something.
So, if I may ask, what do you, if you've studied in America as an undergraduate and then moved to Germany as a graduate student, is that correct?
I did my bachelor's in the States, came to Germany for a year, went back to the States, did my master's degree, and then came back over here to start some doctoral work.
Okay, that's very much like my path, just the other way around. For someone who experienced both academic systems, for those who are listening who haven't been to Germany yet, or maybe you've been to Germany but don't really know anything much about the universities, is there something that, like, what are the difference or what are the similarities? Maybe what can students expect who are familiar with the campuses here? Something that really maybe surprised you, or something that you wish you would have known? Can you share just a little bit more of your personal experience here?
Well, my experience is probably a bit outdated. I've been here for 15 years. One thing that at the time I came over here 15 years ago, and which I think to a certain degree still holds true, is that there's quite a lot of independence as expected of students here. We offer support systems, advising services, of course, but it's expected that students will take the initiative to use these services if they need them, and it's expected that students will, organize their course plans, etc., quite often on their own. I mean, there are services available to assist them, and there's quite a lot of information on the internet, but it's expected that the students will read up on what's required of them in the program and then take that initiative. As far as actual work, the classroom work, for example, this varies quite a bit across the disciplines. I'm from the humanities, so I can only speak from that point of view. There's a lot of group work, oral presentations. One thing that I, particularly at the undergraduate level, which might be a difference, is that there are lots of oral exams in Germany at the university. In the States, you tend to have term papers or written exams. And you have those too at a German institution, but there are also oral exams, and that's a different. That's just a different situation to get used to.
Yeah, those are good points. Those are the points that I observed as well. And I just remembered an important question that I also get frequently is that now that bachelors and masters are offered in Germany, they're called bachelors and masters, but the question that you as students usually have is it really the same? So is a bachelor's really accepted as a bachelor's would in Germany? And then if students potentially, if they would like to get a master's in Germany, but maybe would like to then continue with a PhD in America, or if they would like to continue with their education in Germany, but then maybe move back for their careers back to America, does that is that just widely accepted as an accepted degree, just like here in the United States, or is there a difference at all?
Well, I think for students who have a bachelor's degree applying for a master's program here, in general, the bachelor degree, an American bachelor degree is accepted. I think that's more or less across the board accepted. For students who have who complete a master's degree in Germany and then apply to a PhD program in the States, I think I can only generalize and say there usually shouldn't be any problems, but of course I know PhD admissions at American universities can be quite different, quite diverse according to the university and according to the focus. But the system is designed so that there's a great deal of compatibility.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so if anyone wonders, that is, generally speaking, those degrees are accepted. But as you mentioned, of course, even in the United States, coming from a different university here in the United States, if you apply to a different one, you may add another course maybe, or you need some more qualification if you apply. But generally speaking, I do agree that the systems are designed, and the Bologna process was designed so that there was more transparency, and that it was easier for students really to transfer, not just at a university within Germany, but also in Europe and worldwide. Yeah.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to mention that many students, particularly if they're interested in PhD studies, may not be aware of is that the PhD system at Universität Hamburg and in general, still for the most part at German institutions, is a dissertation-based system, that the PhD consists of researching and writing a dissertation. In general, there are no coursework requirements, as opposed to most PhD programs in the States, where there's usually several years of coursework and then a comprehensive exam, and then the dissertation is written.
Mm-hmm. So the programs that you mentioned earlier, the PhD programs, those are more the traditional programs, or are those actual graduate schools and structured programs?
For the most part, they are the German traditional individual dissertation-based programs. There are some graduate school type programs in various faculties that also have coursework. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for those of you who are interested, if you look up in a search engine DAAD International Programs, this will lead you to a database, and you will be able to look up all programs that are offered in English that are structured programs, and all the programs that are offered by the University of Hamburg will be listed there as well. But of course, you can directly also go to the University of Hamburg website to find out which programs are individual, or if they're structured. There's detailed information, so there shouldn't be any confusion of if you apply to a program that's individual or structured. All right. Well, I don't have any more questions from the audience. If you don't have any more information to share with us, I would like to give you hand over the microphone to you for the last time. If there is anything you would like to add, or maybe some closing remarks, and then after that, I think I would like to leave it at that for today. But of course, you see the contact information for the University of Hamburg, but also for myself, geist@daad.org is my direct email address. So if you have any questions, feel free to contact me at any point later on. And now I would like to leave the closing remarks to either both of you or one of you in Hamburg.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. We want to thank the DAAD for the opportunity to present Universität Hamburg and its postgraduate programs. We would love to find out more about you, about you students who took part in the webinar, and please contact us if you have any questions. Take a look at what we have to offer. And as I said, we would love to see you here in Hamburg.
It's I've been to Hamburg. It's a wonderful city, and what you presented today sounds great. That makes me almost want to go back and study. Not quite. I think I'm done for now. But thank you very much for your presentation. I think there are wonderful opportunities in Hamburg, and as we mentioned several times today, there are no tuition fees, but there is still high quality of education, high standards of living. And so if you have any questions, do feel free, and I encourage you to contact either the representatives of the University of Hamburg or myself in the DAAD Information Center in San Francisco. And with that, I would like to say goodbye for today. Thank you very much for joining us today. The presentation will be online shortly. I will send you an email with the direct link to the recording and also both the presentations from the University of Hamburg and also from DAAD. And with that, thank you very much for joining us today, and I hope to hear and see you again at some point later on in the year for another DAAD webinar series presentation. Goodbye.
Bye.